The results are in, setting the stage for the big showdown in November.
On WFTV tonight, we're bringing you live team coverage on several key state and local races, the issues and lawsuits surrounding some of them, and who the governor is trying to get elected in Central Florida.
I'm updating this front that's going to be stuck nearby and how much heavy rainfall we can see throughout this week.
There's a huge explosion that woke me up out of my bed.
And a woman was found dead inside of a burned out car. What we know about the victim and the chain of events that led up to this discovery.
This is WFTV Tonight.
And we begin with breaking news right now. Channel 9 has learned a cyber incident has impacted election result reporting systems across our state. Good evening, I'm Greg Warmoth.
And I'm Martha Sigalski. Earlier tonight, we told you 59 out of the 67 county websites were impacted, and that just now some are coming back up. It's something our team of reporters is keeping a close eye on, along with results for several key state and local races. Let's get right over to non-investigate Shannon Butler with more on this cyber incident. Shannon.
Yes, supervisors all over the state were letting people know that there was a statewide issue. It seems a few counties were working, but most were not. Let me take you over to some of this information. At the time, Orange, Volusia, and Flagler counties, they were not working. Marion, Lake, Osceola, Brevard, and Putnam were all having issues. This is what happened on that vendor site. When you went to a supervisor of elections, you got that prompt right there that said Florida National Night Reporting. You would then have to go to the supervisor of elections where then you could see the results. Clearly an issue here. This is not normal. Usually you go to the supervisor of election pages and that's where you can see those results. So at least there was some kind of fix from that company right here to at least get you where you needed to be. Now, we are told that this is some kind of vendor issue. This is not a state issue. It's not a county issue, although we have not heard for the state on this matter, but it's certainly, there are questions about what this will mean going forward.
It's a hard thing for them to argue, I think, because Republicans do have a very strong control of the state. This is something that's always been identified as an advantage of Florida, that we run good elections after 2000. And so I think this would be a harm to the brand if Republicans nationwide or even within the state were to point to this as something that had suddenly gone poorly for them.
Now, just to be clear, some of the websites that were down have come online now, but there are still plenty that are still working through that issue. We do not have any time frame when all of this might be fixed. As you know, many of the supervisor of elections have asked for money in their budgets to try to protect their systems even more. Cybersecurity, no doubt, going to be talked about again between now and November, an important issue clearly when it comes to our election. Martha.
And thanks so much. And our team coverage continues now with Channel 9's Sabrina Maggiore.
Yeah, and Martha, Sabrina spoke with the Orange County Supervisor of Elections, who says thankfully this cyber incident did not impact Orange County.
And tonight, results are coming in for several major state and local races that will set the stage for the general election in November. Channel 9's Nick Pampantonis continues our election coverage. He's been keeping an eye on several of those races for us. And another big race we're following is Florida's 10th district in Orange County. Congressman Maxwell Frost running for re-election. He will face Republican Willie Montague this November. And Democrat Marcos Lopez is moving forward to November in the race for Osceola County Sheriff. There were 5 other people running for that position. We heard from Sheriff Lopez tonight as he hosted a results watch party.
We're going to continue to work hard. I really feel good. I really feel humbled. I'm really glad that the people are continuing to want us in office.
More than 17,000 votes were cast in this race. Greg?
And Governor Ron DeSantis endorsed 23 school board candidates across 14 counties in our state. The governor wants to end what he calls the woke ideology in public schools by putting an end to teaching practices for critical race theory and gender theory in Florida classrooms. In the last election, the governor endorsed 30 school board candidates and 25 won or advanced to the runoff election in November. The most controversial school board race here in Central Florida was for District 5 in Osceola County. William Scott Ramsey was up for the seat vacated by Erica Booth, but he lost to Paula Bronson. He had been appointed for that seat by the governor. He's not going to hold on to it. And now let's go to Seminole County Supervisor of Elections. Amy Pennick beat Chris Anderson in a stunner, 60% of the votes for Amy Pennick.
Yeah, Pennick getting more than 17,000 votes. Anderson was appointed by the governor in 2019 to serve as the Supervisor of Elections, and voters backed him in 2020, but not this time around. Let's go to the Orange Osceola State Attorney race. Seth Hyman won with 56% of the vote. He will now be the GOP candidate on November's ballot. Now, this will be a three-person race. He'll be facing off against State Attorney Andrew Bain, who is a NPA, and former State Attorney Monique Worrell, who is a Democrat. You remember, the governor removed Worrell and appointed Bain last year. We'll have to see if she wins, if he will do that again, Greg.
That will be the question. And now to the Orange County Commission District 1 seat. Right now, and look at this, there will be a recount since the race is too close to call. Incumbent Nicole Wilson and Austin Arthur are facing a margin of 5 votes. 89 handwritten ballots still need to be accounted for. They'll do this recount by hand on Saturday.
As we continue to monitor election results, we'll bring you updates on our website, WFTV.com, and here on Channel 9.
All right, moving from that to this. What a story this one was. Tonight, investigators looking into a woman's death after she was found inside of a burning car in her driveway. You can see the extensive damage here to that vehicle. Orange County deputies say this happened on Glasgow Avenue in the Dr. Phillips area, and this was in broad daylight at 2:30 this afternoon. Deputies have a lot of questions, but here's what they've told us. They say the woman was found unresponsive inside a fully engulfed vehicle in the driveway and was later pronounced dead at the scene. We spoke to a neighbor who says he was asleep this afternoon when he heard what sounded like an explosion.
There's a huge explosion that woke me up out of my bed. And then I looked out the window and flames started shooting up past the house. I couldn't tell where it was.
Now, so far, the woman's identity has not been released to the press. Deputies say the woman was in her 30s. The state fire marshal is investigating the cause of the fire. We'll stay on top of this investigation.
Members of the public are invited to attend the upcoming Pulse Memorial Advisory Committee meeting and open house. That committee consists of families and survivors and other community stakeholders. They came together in July to create a design for a permanent memorial to the Orlando City Council for the 49 Pulse shooting victims by the end of the year. The meeting is tomorrow at City Hall on South Orange Avenue in Orlando. It's from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. and is available on Zoom, as well as both in English and in Spanish. Kamala Harris is now the Democratic nominee for President of the United States.
It's official. The roll call of state delegates made it official tonight. Richard Elliott is in Chicago with reaction from the family of civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. A local restaurant has reopened nearly 2 years after being destroyed by Hurricane Ian.
It's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears.
Up next, why the newly revamped version of Krabby Joe's will still feel like home for returning customers. Tom?
Well, the rain's returning. We had some dry weather to get the weekend off. Now we've got rain and storms back, and this week front, I'm updating the timing for rain coming up later today. Just ahead.
Sky Witness 9 on Channel 9 Eyewitness News, bringing you closer to the scene during live breaking news. Sponsored by Attorney Dan Newland.
The really good thing about our team is that we all play our role. We know exactly what's happening with weather, with traffic.
Each county, the weather can be so different. I want you to have what you need so you're not surprised by one of our Central Florida downpours.
Traffic in Poinciana is different than in Daytona Beach. It's our job to understand the traffic flows of each community, and we plan that alternate route for you to get you where you need to go on time.
We need to give you the forecast for the entire day to stay safe and to stay ahead of that storm.
We're here for you to make sure that you're ready to go for the day.
Back in 2022, Hurricane Ian ripped apart this pier in Daytona Beach shores, and this prompted the restaurant Krabby Joe's to temporarily close its doors.
Some were worried that they wouldn't reopen, but today the pier is back and the doors opened once again. And Channel 9's Demi Johnson was there as they opened the newly revamped restaurant.
Most of the staff took jobs at Krabby Joe's sister locations over the last 2 years, but almost all of them came back to their jobs at the pier, and it has such a great view.
I still am just fascinated on how you would reconstruct something that is out in the ocean with crashing waves and then get it upright and ready to go.
It's neat how they do it.
You can't stop the water.
Yeah, a lot of work, and there's still lots of condo communities, houses, etc., that they're still haven't been able to do much.
It's
all over by the sea. Ponce still has, still the
that
looks.
was a couple of big storms back to back 2 years ago. Time is flying. Right now, we have some scattered showers moving in along I-75 near Tampa. Otherwise, our storm system is kind of stalled out here to the north. A cold front, it will get a little bit more of a push and be a little closer to Metro Orlando, but will not be bringing us any dry weather necessarily. The forecast models keeping some of the drier air behind the system kind of stuck to our north across parts of Marion County, northern Lake County. But look at the kind of the greenish colors take over the map here by Thursday as the moisture levels kind of work back north, and we're all going to get a better chance for some scattered downpours. So Castleberry later today, seeing temperatures back in the low 90s, and then the closer we get to 3, 4, 5 o'clock, higher rain chances moving through Seminole County. Here's updated future track. We'll start out quiet and then scattered downpours. Here's 3 p.m. working through from west to east, then scatter storms by 4 to 5 o'clock. Could even see an evening thunderstorm there. And then on Thursday, could get a couple rounds moving in a little bit earlier in the day. So I left highs only in the 80s for a lot of us on Thursday with the early showers here. Here's the Villages, Ocala. So generally, as we head late this week, rain chances are going up. Here's an example of that. Lake Mary, Longwood for Thursday, higher 60% chance for rain, and keeping scattered thunderstorms all the way through the next 5 days, including over in Palm Bay and Melbourne. We're keeping higher rain chances for you as you still are trying to catch up on a pretty dry summer season so far. What we don't want is rain for the races in Daytona. They can't run in the rain. They don't have radial tires, so rain is not what they want. Saturday, we're going to have some rain in the afternoon, but it should be pushing west of the Speedway by race time 7:30. Right now, no tropical systems over the next week, but we're going to be watching out here in the Atlantic and possibly again in the Gulf of Mexico by the very end of this month and early September, when things traditionally are much more active. 7-day forecast. The weekend always in view. 60% rain coverage for us later today. Temperatures in the low 90s. And there you see the cool down. Only 87 Thursday. That was a good year. 60 to 70% chance for rain heading toward the weekend. We'll be right back.
Download the WFTV weather app. Get a localized forecast from Tom Terry. Just search WFTV. Brought to you by the Law Offices of Attorney Dan Newland.
Involved in a car accident? Call me now, 407-888-8000.
Central Florida's Chief Meteorologist Tom Terry.
People have really trusted me for nearly 3 decades, and that's something I take personally.
Tracking storms for 28 years.
I've seen just about everything you can see here weather-wise, so no matter what the weather brings, I vow to get it right.
With a proven legacy built on trust.
It's my job to give you the most accurate details and keep you safe.
Central Florida's Chief Meteorologist Tom Terry, only on Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
More parks and schools are using artificial turf on their athletic fields.
But there are some environmental groups that say that there are some health concerns that parents should be aware of, including possible exposure to harmful forever chemicals and a risk of burns. Investigative reporter Sophia Choi looked into the negative impact that may have on athletes. All right, Lake Mary Little League returned to the baseball diamond tonight in hopes of keeping their Little League World Series dreams alive. Otherwise, they'd have to go back to school this week. Well, after last night's loss to Texas, Lake Mary had to beat New York tonight to stay in the tournament. And with the game tied at 1 in the 5th, Christopher Chikldroff singles to right without hitting his teammate and going to a 2-1 lead. And then watch this. Oh. That's my guy. 6th inning, 3-1. Lake Mary DJ Miasis breaks the game wide open with a 3-run tater. Sends Lake Mary to another elimination game. 6-1 the final score. Mary lives to play another day and will take on Hawaii tomorrow night at 7 on ESPN.
I love that kid's energy. He's just smiling and happy and high-fiving everyone.
They need to win tomorrow and then Friday, and then they'll get to play in the U.S. Championship Saturday.
How exciting.
And
One
maybe
game
for
at
the
a
whole
time.
thing on Sunday.
It's all. I hope they're really enjoying all this.
Looks like they are.
Take it in.
We're off to a quiet start here in just a few short hours from now. Temperatures in the upper 80s. Then we'll get some scattered afternoon storms. Better chance for rain throughout the rest of the week.
Well, all right. Now we're at Wednesday already. We're halfway there.
We're halfway there.
I just like those no 90s on the screen. That looks good.
Wait till the weekend.
All right.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
Watch Eyewitness News from any device with Eyewitness News Livestream. Sponsored by the law firm of Bogan, Munz & Munz. No gimmicks, just results.